All right. We'll get right into it. Angry Bears Fan Podcast, episode 6. Going strong. Six of the first 6 of many. Bears didn't have a game this week. So not much to be angry about. We play the Eagles this week, so I'm sure we'll be plenty angry during, before, and after the game. This is the murderer's row. I guess we kind of wanted it because now the Bears can play hard and we're still going to lose. And that's kind of what we want to see. We want to see Justin Fields go out there against some real coverages and some real people, see the O-line take some steps. And what are you looking to see the Bears do these next 4 games?
Not win, for one.
Yeah, we definitely do not want any of the wins.
I don't want to give up draft position. With Denver's loss, actually we fall to number 3 now.
Carolina won though, right?
No, Seattle's got that number 2 spot because of Denver. Houston still got the number 1. We got the number 3 overall pick. It's going to be difficult. What I want to see is a little bit of progression from Justin if he does continue to play. He was held out of practice today along with Chase Claypool.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, Claypool with a knee designation and Justin Fields with an illness. So who knows? Maybe this will be his flu game. But I want to see a little bit more progression from Justin just in the passing game. I want to see that offensive line shore up. They started the season 31st ranked in the NFL. Now they're in the top 10. Alex Leatherwood, I want to see him start. Larry Borom did not participate in practice today. I think he's going to be out. He's probably going to be shut down for the rest of the season. Just get Alex Leatherwood in there. Let's see how this offensive line does interior wise. Let's see Justin on that passing game. We know what the run game can do already. I want to see Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon in the lineup healthy. I mean, the team in general lacks talent everywhere, so we're not looking for something that's going to be, I want to see a little bit of pressure, a little bit of urgency from the defensive line to get to the quarterback. But you know that those things are going to be few and far between. Realistically, going forward, you just want to see Justin Fields accelerate. It scares me a little bit, as it should with all Bears fans and all football fans in general. When you see an injury like we saw on Monday night with Kyler Murray, and the kind of quarterback that Justin Fields is, that non-contact torn ACL injury, because, obviously he was planting. That right leg was outside of his base, and his knee just exploded on him. It just buckled. You don't want to see that to anybody, but as a Bears fan, you especially don't want to see that from Justin Fields. So I want to kind of take it easy a little bit on the designated runs. If you got to run to scramble out of the pocket, that's fine. But, don't.
Yeah, no need to run.
Be Justin Fields, don't be Superman. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to extend plays more than you have to. Get to the marker, get down.
I think that'll be Getsy right there. So I think Justin does a great job of getting down. So we just have to call plays where he's not obligated to run like a running back. I agree with everything you say. For me, I'd say I want to see Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, and Leatherwood all take steps, some more cohesion. Offensive line is all reps.
Well, realistically, it would be nice if Braxton Jones can continue to be in that left tackle position. If Leatherwood works out and we like what we see, we can, play him next year. We'll have Tevin Jenkins at that right guard role. Now you just got to fill 2 spots on the offensive line, and I'd much rather replace 2 people than, 4 on the offensive line. Because realistically, you're going to be looking at free agency. You're going to be looking at adding defensive line pieces, maybe a guard. I'm still kind of banking on Elgin Jenkins from Green Bay being available. There's a couple guys in the draft as well. No round 1 guys, but rounds 2, 3, and 4. I really feel like there's some good interior.
Oh yeah, there'll be a few. Michigan.
Yeah,
that you can definitely get.
Who's that center? I think he's from Stanford. Real impressive center out of Stanford.
We need a center. We got to get a center.
Projected 2nd rounder. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to. Definitely that offensive line, replacing those 2 guys is going to be a lot easier than replacing majority of them. I heard recently, and I'm not saying the Bears should do this, but Brandon Cooks is, they're talking about moving him in the offseason. If you can get him for a 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick, I'm
I
all for it.
saw D-Hop.
Yeah, well, that too. But here's
I'd
my
be
problem.
really interested in any kind of D-Hop deal because I think he's plug and play, no matter and he's just going to go get 90 catches, 8 to 10 touchdowns, no matter who your quarterback is. If they are smart enough to throw him the ball,
If
I
the
really
price
want him.
isn't too high, I would absolutely
Yeah,
love to explore that
I would
deal.
have to see
But
what the price is, but it's going to
yeah,
be what he went for. What, a second last time, right? A second
yeah.
or something. So it's like
Mhm.
he ain't gonna go for more than that. So what's he gonna be, a fourth?
Well, kick the tires on DeAndre
I would do it
Hopkins. Kick
for a
the tires
fourth.
on
I
Brandon
think,
Cooks.
yeah, Cooks have something. I would have to see what Cooks' contract's like. If he get, I would just hope Brandon Cook. I'm guessing they cut him.
Brandon Cooks, I think, is 18 to 20 mil a season is what he's making.
I
I
know, no,
think
but that's why
D-Hop,
nobody traded for him because he's got a big contract next year. Nobody wanted him.
I still would have done it if the price was right. I mean, if they were asking for, I mean, if you were going to give up a 2nd-round pick for Claypool, I would have given up a 2nd-round pick for Brandon Cooks, without a doubt.
I think he was he's worried about money, and I'm pretty sure Cooks has got a fucked up contract next year.
I think it
And
kicks
we
in
just
next year.
lose now. I like I said, the Claypool thing, they're just young. That's a young guy. I don't like it with the R second. Maybe polls like me thought that we were going to go on a run and Justin was playing better, so we were going to be like pick 12 instead of 3. So I don't know.
Are you a little concerned with the news that's coming out with Ryan Poles and I guess Roquan is a little salty still. He's a little butthurt. But there's reports out there that Roquan's just, really throwing Ryan Poles under the bus, pretty much calling him a liar, saying that, he was told that they were going to build the defense around him and he would never be traded. Is that something that you look into, or is that, more so,
I
him
don't know.
just
I would
kind of
have
telling
to.
him what he wants to hear, but ultimately it's a business?
Yeah, I would have to hear from somebody outside of Roquan just because he's been bitching and moaning for like 2 years now, and he was having mental health issues and sat out games, and as much as I like Roquan, and I'm not trying to shit talk him, I'm just saying guys who get traded complain. I would have to hear from more than 1 or 2 people to be the stigma. I don't want him to burn too many bridges. If he's a nice guy and he's on his game, we are still a big football city and a major town, a major city in the country in general. So we should be able to get free agents. But I hope Roquan, you know what I mean? He got what he wanted. So I don't know. I don't know why Roquan would be around slandering us, trying to hurt us. You know what I mean? Our team going forward in the future, basically. That's what you're doing. Trying to ruin
Yeah.
the relationship between the future players and the GM. So I don't if that's all he said, then no, like you said, that's what you tell the best players in your team. You don't tell them hey, we're gonna fucking trade you. You know what I mean? As soon as the best offer hits the door, go out there and play your best. See you later. I don't what did he expect them to tell him? I'm sure that's also what they were told his agent, or what his agent told him. That's what they said, type shit too. Or he doesn't have an agent, right? So maybe it was.
No, he doesn't have an agent.
So I don't know, but like you said, it was just GM talk, and if he's really taking that personal, then and he saw what it was. We just traded Mac for a second,
Yeah,
and a third, or second and a fourth. We just got rid of Quinn. Everybody, come on now, you knew what this was. You knew you were next if you wanted the bag.
like I said, Ryan Poles has taken the Madden strategy in terms of rebuilding this team. It seems like he's getting rid of all the bad contracts. I know whenever I take over a franchise, I'm immediately dumping all the big contracts for free agents, and then trying to get as many draft pieces as possible. I'm just realistically now, if you're Ryan Poles, you have to hit. You
Yes,
cannot
yeah, he
you
can't.
cannot afford misses. This city will be all over you. The fan base will be all over you. We've already sat in mediocrity for years and years and years and years and years. The GMs of this town, of this team, and you know what? It's not even just this team. It's Chicago sports in general. The GMs have been kind of lack of judgments, poor judgments, poor talent evaluators.
Yes,
So
it's rampant.
he needs to really step up his game, and he really needs to focus on making sure that he hits on his draft picks. Obviously, you're not going to hit on every single one,
No.
but if you're
He needs to hit on this top five. Yep, that guy's got to hit on him. And I think he's under the gun to get a top 5 free agent. I don't know who that is.
DeForest Buckner. No, it was not him. It's somebody from Washington. There's a D end out of Indianapolis, the one that's got the fucked up last name. I can't even. I don't know how
On
to
Indianapolis, who's got a fucked up last name?
Yeah, it's like Igani something. It's Ygonne.
Oh.
That's his first name. He's a defensive end. He's a free agent. Elgin Jenkins, the defensive tackle from Washington.
Which one, Jonathan Allen?
No.
Or the big one, Matthew Adonis.
Yeah. There's a lot more premier defensive free agents than there are offensive free agents this year. And I think that's going to be kind of what we see in the future with the way that the league is kind of moving to. But I will say this historically, if you're looking at it right now, the Bears might be in good position because this year we're seeing the most amount of rushing attempts. We're seeing the least amount of passing attempts per game. And all this stuff is kind of like it's like the game is kind of regressing a little bit more now, back to a run-driven league as opposed to being a passing league. It kind of the NFL has its spurts it goes to and from. So I mean, you still need your guy.
I think it's more we're in a transition of quarterbacks. And so the passing's down. I think once Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, all these guys take their mantles, then the league will be back. Like they all want to pass, but I think there's 10 teams in the league right now. They got a quarterback that was drafted within the last 3 years.
I think defenses are adjusting too.
Yeah, a little bit, but it still leans in that favor. I just think not a lot of the teams have the guy to pass with. Like, what are you going to throw 40 times a game with Danny Dimes or Tyler Heineke or fucking, you know what I mean? It's not like they even have good running backs. They just don't want to throw the ball that many times because they don't trust those guys.
The more I'm seeing it, the more and more I kind of really want Saquon in free agency if the price is right. I'm looking at it and I just can't imagine a better scenario for the Bears, somebody who can catch the ball out of the backfield, be a really good pass pro blocker, as well as a good runner as long as he stays healthy and as long as his knee holds up. But once again, I'm not paying $13 million a year for a running back.
I would have to see what the receivers are like. If we can't get any outside weapons, then
well, you called it a few weeks ago. You said there's going to be disgruntled wide receivers out there that want trades, but at the same time, you don't want to give up any. I don't think you want to give up any draft capital this year.
Not for D-Hop. If it was like Metcalf or Debo or like somebody who just re-signed for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Debo because San Francisco team looks amazing.
Yeah, but if they lose again, they just got CMC. That's what you're knocking Debo's touches in half. With them having CMC now, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying. I'm just saying perfect scenario. I'm hoping like DK Metcalf is like that. Seattle doesn't get a quarterback, and DK's like, I want to be on a winner, or somebody like that. I don't know. D-Hop, I think D-Hop works well for us. I think that'd be a good. Then we could draft one or two guys who can learn under D-Hop while we, you know what I mean, carries the load for the 1 or 2 more years. But I think that would be a nice security blanket for Justin Fields. One of those guys where like you just throw it to him. Like he runs his route, you throw it. And if they intercept it, it was his fault. If he's not double covered or if you throw a bad ball, like just don't throw a bad ball and either he'll jump up and knock it down or.
He's got some of the best hands in the game.
Yeah, and his route running, he runs a lot of good routes.
His catch radius is amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's just, he's a big bodied guy. He catches with his hands. We talked about that with Chase Claypool, how he doesn't. Like I said, his catch radius is really big, and that's really impressive for
OBJ will be a free agent. He said he's sitting out for the rest of the year. Maybe you know what I mean. OBJ. I think we're too small time for him, but maybe.
Yeah.
I think
D-Hop. Did you see what the Rams said about his physical? They said if they would have saw his physical last August, they wouldn't have signed him. They knew his knee was going to explode. They knew.
But I like to see the D-Hop news because I think that's going to be a huge possibility for us. I think we missed the boat with Amari Cooper. I don't know why we didn't give up a 5th for Amari Cooper. It would have been like a win-win for us. Okay, it's like we pay him $20 million. We got the $20 million anyway to pay. and he's an elite, proven like 3 or 4 times over 1,000-yard receiver season. Like he's a one, and it's like if he sucked, it's like whatever. We just got rid of him. All we paid was a fifth. No big deal.
Exactly. He was like a low risk, high reward type of
Yeah, it's
trade.
like, and it's like I don't know. So I think D Hop could be. I think he's a lot better than Amari Cooper, but I think something like that.
Well, I think
Kyler towards AC.
Arizona's gonna blow it up, man. They
I mean, they
have
have to because Kyler's going to be out for what 2 years. He's not going to play next year now. He tore his ACL, so
Yeah.
he'll be out for a year. So he won't
And
be back
then
till next.
I don't think Cliff. I think Cliff.
He's about
Cliff.
to. Oh, he's fired.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think he's gone.
He's out of there. Kyler, they'll Colt McCoy will be quarterback next year. They'll tank. They'll trade D Hop for like a third or something. Maybe JJ Watt's done.
What if they end up getting the number 1 overall pick and then drafting Caleb Williams?
No way. That would. I mean, they just pay Kyler too much. I think Kyler's fine. I don't think he's trash.
Yeah, but they just did. They did the same thing to Josh Rosen. I mean, they didn't pay Josh Rosen, but what I'm saying is they still went out and drafted a quarterback.
Josh Rosen was ass though.
Rosen.
Like Kyler,
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that, but people are saying that Caleb Williams is a generational quarterback. He's a can't-miss prospect. I absolutely think so. I
don't think so.
We were talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State, stashing him like, hey, can I use this year's draft pick on Marvin Harrison Jr.? People would be lining up the door to do that to Caleb Williams this year, without a doubt. He's better than any quarterback in this draft this year. And he's the number. Yes, I promise you, he's the number 1 overall pick next year. I think. I
don't like. I watched him play. I don't think he was better than Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence.
He is amazing.
I think he is good. I just think he's got some like. I think he's like Justin Herbert. I think he's like Justin Herbert. Like
I think he's better than Justin was coming out of college. He's not quite Trevor Lawrence-esque yet. I mean, he's still young. He's a sophomore. But Lincoln Riley, I mean, that offense is one of the most pro-ready offenses in college football. Lincoln Riley is one of the best coaches in college football. Rest in peace, Mike Leach, by the way, sadly passing away. That was terrible, man. So, rest in peace. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. But Caleb Williams, he is going to be I don't think he's like Trevor yet. You know what I'm saying? He's not quite as.
I don't know. I'm always skeptical of college guys unless I see him play against good players. USC doesn't play against anybody all year. The only good teams he played, he lost. And you know what I mean? And
it wasn't not his fault.
I wouldn't say
wins and losses is not a quarterback stat. I can't. I
think it is a quarterback stat because
it is absolutely not a quarterback stat.
I would have to look at the score. If you scored 50 and you lost 60-50, then I agree. But
you can't play every position. If a quarterback goes out there and throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks, he doesn't turn the ball over, but his team loses. How is that his fault?
Well, because that's you're looking on a broad scale. I think it could be third downs he fucked up, field position he fucked up. Like, you know what I mean?
I would rather you throw receivers. What if his wide receivers drop the ball?
Yeah, that too. Again, I don't know all that. I'm just saying, like, I think wins and losses can dictate somewhat of a quarterback. It's just like you get first downs, you control the clock, you control the tempo of the game. Not all the times. Like I said, I would have to see the score. If you score 50 and they scored 60, then no, it's not your fault.
I disagree completely.
But if you're not getting first downs, you're not managing the game well. You're not hitting guys when they're open. You're not checking the runs when you're supposed to. I think they control the wins or loss more than anybody else on the field, even the coach.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you you're a fan of Justin Herbert, right?
Yeah.
Is Justin Herbert a top 5 quarterback? Would you top 5 in terms of, going through the next 10 years? Would you take Justin Herbert? Okay. Yes. He has more losses than wins.
I know that, but I think he plays recklessly too. I think he's good, but he's like Brett Favre's a good example. You could be good, but also make poor decisions that cost your team the game. Like
that's what I'm saying. Wins and losses does not dictate how good
not all the time. I think sometimes it does, especially in college when like you're Superman. You got to win these games. Like,
yeah, but you can't dictate quarterback in college doing that because if you have teams like,
what
Alabama
quarterback in college who could win any big game and turned out to be good?
What do you mean?
Who?
Are you telling me that every single national championship quarterback has went to the NFL and been good?
No, I'm saying that the quarterbacks in the NFL they showed that they'd be good in big games. Caleb Williams loses every big game he plays in.
But he doesn't play bad. He doesn't play
I'm not
poorly.
saying he plays bad. They just don't win the game. I mean, he doesn't play up to par.
But he plays up to that competition.
I don't remember. I want to see how he played in the last game.
And then on top of that, you said with Deshaun Watson, right? You knew Deshaun Watson was going to be the guy, stuff like that. And didn't he lose? Didn't he end up losing the national championship? Justin Fields.
But he threw for four. They lost on like the last play of the game.
But like I said,
and then he came back and won the next year on the last play of the game.
He still balled out, but they lost.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Caleb Williams was 28 for 41 for 363 with 3 TDs and interception. And they only scored 24 points, which is not a lot.
No, but that's not on him. He did
everything. I mean, the points is on him. But they did give up a lot of points. How many points they score in a game is him. That is him.
And not entirely. Not when you're
if their drives are stalling, it's his fault. I mean, unless you're saying that every bad pass they dropped it.
So wide receivers drop.
Yes,
we're going to disagree on this completely.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's just as likely a wide receiver drops a ball as Caleb Williams throws a bad pass.
So timeout.
So I'm going to take those out. I'm not going to. They all are fucking up. Like
the game against Minnesota for the Bears, right? We lose that game because Smith-Marset doesn't run out of bounds. He gets stripped. Justin Fields loses the game. Is Justin Fields a bad quarterback? Is that his fault?
Well, right now he's slightly above average. That game in particular wasn't his fault, but there's been 3 or 4 that was his fucking fault.
Was Darnell Mooney's drop in the end zone? Was that his fault?
I think it was a combination of both of them. Could have been a better thrown ball. There was a poorly thrown ball that Darnell still should have caught and scored the touchdown on. I'm just saying Justin Fields could have done better. And there's been play. He just threw an interception to lose us the game last week. And then the week before that, he did it too.
We're blowing up Justin. And this is all I'm trying to say here. Yeah, I'm not going to be like Skip Bayless, and I'm not going to make you take off your glasses and throw, like Shannon Sharp did. But we're blowing up Justin, and we're making the same argument, back and forth about, a win-loss record being a quarterback statistic. I just don't firmly believe that.
No. I think it is more so than anybody else's. I think they even more so than the coach are dictating the game. Most coaches, like there's some coaches that got their hand in everything, but in college too, like I do think it is. Like college, these guys are supermen. Like that's what they do. You hulk up, you win the game. Like his team only scored 24 points, so that means he was driving up and down the field and he couldn't get in the end zone. He wasn't throwing interceptions.
If you're a fan of Michigan, Cade McNamara, great player. We would both agree on that. We think he's a great player. He's going to Iowa. Iowa's offense is fucking terrible. Cade McNamara balls out every game, throws for 350 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns or whatever a game. Iowa still finishes under 500. Is that Cade McNamara's fault?
Again, I would have to is he throwing what's his third down completion? Oh, how many points of the defense given up? If
that's
they're
not
giving
wins
up
and losses. That's third down completion. That's third down.
Yeah, but those are the biggest indicators. Are you going to win the game? Are turnovers? Are you whole time of possession? Third down conversion? That's what I'm saying. And quarterbacks control those things, and those are the biggest indicators of the game.
Not all the time, and in college, it's different.
The best quarterback
in the NFL, I agree with you, but in college, it's different.
Yeah, but you got to show it in college too. Yeah, in college, I'm measuring how many points are you scoring.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of more so I'm measuring on that. And like I said, he only scored 24 points in the biggest game of his fucking life.
But he can't do everything. He did what he could.
On offense, he can.
If he threw for 3 touchdowns,
that's what you do.
3 touchdowns and 1 interception with 363 yards in the air. What more do you want from him?
What I'm saying is they were probably playing in shell. He wasn't scoring in the red zone. They were probably letting him march up and down the field and stopping him in the red zone.
Okay, what about play calling?
That's college.
That's what
I'm saying. It could be a mix of it, but I think quarterback. You know what I mean? He's a quarterback. He can check. You know what I mean? Once the ball's in the lines, he does whatever the fuck he wants.
I don't know. No.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams does. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Number 1 overall pick next year.
Oh yeah, I think that. I'm not saying he's not going to be overall pick. I just don't think he's.
And he's going to come in.
He's
going to come in and he's going to wreck the league.
I've seen he's doing what Baker did and Kyler did and Jalen Hurts did. Same shit. That's what I'm seeing. The same shit. Won the Heisman, dominated, lost all the big games, and blamed it on the defense. It wasn't their fault. But didn't Jalen Hurts do the same thing? He didn't win the Heisman, but he almost did. Baker won the Heisman. Same shit. Baker's fucking ass. Jalen Hurts is slightly above mids.
We sit there. I'm sorry. I'm going to disagree with you on this too.
I was a Baker defender, but I think
is not as bad as everybody says he is.
He's not as good as he was supposed to be. That's what I will say.
He's all right. But for any quarterback to go into a team 48 hours, get thrown into
impressive.
A game, not knowing the playbook,
that was
go
impressive.
Down 98 yards to win the game. Like I'm sorry,
it was impressive. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a quarterback in the NFL, so he's talented. What I'm saying is, he had a Caleb Williams-like season where he won the Heisman, and he's mids in the NFL.
Okay, we can say that about any quarterback. We can say that about Justin. We can say that about Justin Fields.
I mean, he's not mids. You could tell the guy like can ball. Like he's like one of the best athletes in the NFL already. That's different.
And that's how. All right. For next week, this is what I want you to do. This is your assignment. I want you to go back and watch tape on Caleb Williams. It doesn't. You don't have to watch whole games. Just kind of watch like a little bit of a highlight reel. We'll come back to this discussion again next week about Caleb Williams because I really think that we're talking about Justin Fields, and stuff like that being a generational talent, just kind of being a franchise changer. Watch some tape on Caleb Williams. Get back to me next week.
Well, I've just seen Justin on the NFL field. I'll have to see Kev. Like I said, maybe Caleb Williams will change my mind when he goes to the NFL. Like I said, I've seen him do pretty good in college, but he doesn't beat any really good teams. And he's just putting up all the numbers that the Oklahoma quarterbacks always put. Oh, they're not Oklahoma anymore. The Lincoln Riley quarterbacks always put up. Like they all do that. Like when was the last quarterback Lincoln Riley had that wasn't a Heisman contender? Like that's what he does. So I'm not going to take away from Caleb Williams from that. I'm just saying I don't know if he's a superhero yet. Like I got to see you in a big game against a team that's better than yours, and you make plays to win the game because that's what the NFL is going to be like, especially if you're drafted to the worst team in the NFL.
It's going to be very difficult. I will say that only because, I mean, we're not seeing it with our quarterback right now.
No, okay, it's a transition, and if he gets somewhere where he doesn't have any talent, obviously, you know what I mean. You can't do it. Can't do it all. But Justin Fields, we have seen he might not have gotten us the W, but he has single-handedly kept us in games, literally on his back, and that's what I mean. We're like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you might still lose the game, but nobody can carry the game like the quarterback can, and that's what I want to see. Like, you're right. It won't always tell the tale. He can drag us and carry us all he wants. We'll still lose, but you're watching these games like he almost did. He almost got the W all by himself. You know what I mean? And so that's what I want to see from Caleb Williams is like, you got to win these games. You're fucking playing against bums. Utah? Like, come on now. Like, I know they're top whatever.
Utah's not bums though, bro.
The players have on their team are bums. They're not NFL players. How many NFL players do you think are on Utah? 3?
Probably 4.
How many first-round draft picks? None?
2?
No, maybe 1. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can't score fucking 40 on them, how you going to score 40 on Bama? How you going to score 40 on the Detroit Lions? And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not playing NFL talent. Justin Fields was. Though. Justin Fields was. Mac Jones was. He's got Trevor Lawrence.
Hamlin Hooker dropped 49 points against Alabama, but he's not a first-round quarterback. He's a third-rounder at best.
Well, that's also a little, I don't know. I won't say. I mean, that might be a little bit of stigma. He's a black quarterback, things like that. You know what I mean?
No,
like, he wasn't with Lincoln Riley. He's not in a pro offense. He only did it 1 year. He only did it 1 year. Like, it's a combination of things. If he had 3 seasons like that in a row, he would not be a third-round quarterback. If he did that to Alabama 2 years in a row, he would not be a third-round quarterback.
Okay, well, what about when people are talking about Will Levis? He's.
I don't know what I see. That's an anomaly.
He plays for Kentucky, and everybody's telling me that he's the best quarterback prospect in this draft.
In his fairness, Kentucky plays in the SEC, so he's going against. You know what I mean? Even on the bad teams, there's 5 NFL players on that team on the defense. 5, 6 other guys who are going to go to the NFL on Ole Miss.
They're just going. They're not, but they're not basing.
And they might not be right. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying like this is how they're evaluating people.
But they're not evaluating it based on wins and losses. They're evaluating it based on tape, arm strength.
And again, I'm saying and we already got that. Again, I'm not saying that every loss is the quarterback's fault. What I'm saying is they dictated the most. And if fucking Caleb Williams can't beat up on the Pac-12. He damn sure wouldn't be able to do it on the fucking SEC or the Big Ten. And who's going to say he's going to do it in the fucking NFL?
I mean, I get it because you take a look at quarterback, but Justin Herbert played in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I mean, again, there are anomalies, and Josh Allen too. Or he played in the WAC. I don't know what the fuck.
He played in the WAC.
Yeah, that's what the. But again, these guys, it took a little bit of time, and there are some guys who can transition. I'm just saying, like, nobody thought, myself included, or anybody thought Justin Herbert was going to be as good as he was initially. Everybody thought he was maybe a little bit of a project, but he still had all the tools. But maybe Caleb Williams is good. A lot of people are saying he's Mahomes. So, but people say
that. Go that far.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. But again, like, you can't. Like I said, Utah's got maybe one, like I said, 3 to 5 NFL players on their team. Maybe one on defense. Maybe one first-round draft pick on their whole team. Like, if you're the best quarterback, and he's got a first-round wide receiver. I'm guessing he's got couple NFL draft pick offensive linemen. You know what I mean? It's not, and he's playing with NFL players against teams with not NFL players, and you know what I mean. They're not dominating like he should, in my opinion. Well, I think Bryce Young is too. It kind of scared me. I mean, he's still doing good, but
I can promise you next year, especially with the. I mean, I can't really say it because next year they're expanding the college football playoffs. USC is definitely going to be in the college football playoffs next year. But I also think USC is probably a top 5 program next year. 5, they may not be
basically where this year.
bracket.
What are they, 7 now or 8 or something? So I mean, they're really
6. Yeah. No, they are 7. Yeah, they're 7.
I mean, they basically a top 5 program with the best quarterback in the country.
And then and they play in the Pac-12, but they also they're out of conference games. They play Notre Dame. They play.
Yeah, they're good. Like I said, I think that game.
They play a good schedule. It's just not. It's not SEC level.
I think Caleb Williams has to beat Utah, and he had to win that game. Like I don't like.
Again, he's a sophomore too, so next year if he does the same thing, then
I mean, again, I know he's going to be the first quarterback taken and all that jazz, but I don't see. I just don't. There's a lot of really good college quarterbacks.
But of course, Trevor Lawrence went into Clemson as like a freshman, sophomore, junior, and just eliminated everybody.
He had a super team. He was playing he literally was playing with 20 NFL players on their start.
I don't understand how LSU got away with, having fucking Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson all on the same team. That shit is crazy.
Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, holy shit.
Yeah.
Those guys are they're going to be fucking right under Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and T.O. when it's all done.
I saw somebody have a take. They said they would take, if they were starting a franchise, they would take Justin Jefferson over Randy Moss in their prime. And I told them, you're out of your fucking mind. There's no way.
There's nobody to take. I wouldn't even take. I mean, I think Jerry Rice is the GOAT and possibly the GOAT of all time. And I don't think I would take Jerry Rice over Randy Moss because what do you do?
You know what we should do next week? We should do an all-time team. Your all-time team, my all-time team. Of offense and defense. Yeah. Let's do that. That sounds like it'd be fun.
All-time team. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit about basketball.
Yeah. Speaking of basketball, they're saying now that
I just got that alert. Yeah,
yep,
I know what you're talking
about. There's no guarantee that Lonzo Ball is going to be playing this year.
Lonzo Ball. What the hell? The Bulls, they just I guess we've transitioned to the Bulls. I think it's time for them to just blow it up. If Lonzo's not playing, the last 2 seasons have basically been a waste.
Yep. And here's the thing, right? DeMar DeRozan's, he's gonna get you the most in return right now. So I think if you're AK and Chicago, you unfortunately you bite the bullet. You trade DeMar. You probably trade Zach LaVine
if anybody wants him.
You trade Vooch, and you just collect as many draft picks as you possibly can because you fucked up when you traded for Vooch and you traded all those first rounders away. So now you need to kind of recoup some of that draft capital. You were saying last week how basketball is one of those sports that somebody could come in and make an immediate impact, and right away that they're good, with the exception of a couple, Giannis, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and even Jimmy Butler was an elite defender coming in. Like he had it. Like so, I do think that is smart. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The Bulls, like I said, just it's over. There is no hope to win. I mean, even with Lonzo, like I said, what are they going to take the Bucks to 6 games instead of 5? Um,
Yeah.
Zach LaVine has let them down. It was promising before DeMar got there. It looked like he was on the ascent into a great, at least two-way scorer who was going to basically just be unstoppable. That hasn't been the case. He's such a streaky shooter. He plays very minimal defense. He's not a playmaker. I think he pouts a little when DeMar's cooking up or like DeMar's running the offense, but DeMar's just a certified bucket getter. Um, but I think a lot of teams now are just not letting DeMar get off, and the Bulls can't shoot for shit.
No,
Everyone
they have no outside shooting,
yes,
man.
just breaks
None.
Caruso. Caruso has reverted back into that white guy none of us would have picked at Lifetime. I don't think I've seen Caruso make a three in like weeks. Like seriously. Like I don't watch the whole game beginning to end, but I watch large portions of it and I can't remember last time I seen Caruso make a jump shot. He's playing terribly.
Time to trade Zach LaVine to the Lakers. Time to trade DeMar DeRozan.
I don't know if Zach LaVine to the Lakers, but maybe DeMar and Vooch, and like I said, maybe take that Russ deal because then at least Russ will come and they'll be competitive. Russ fights. I honestly, a long time ago,
this is the last. This is the last year of his deal, so I think if they do that, they'd be doing it for an expiring deal.
I honestly think I wish we would have been had this podcast 3 or 4 years ago when Russ initially went to the Houston Rockets. I honestly thought the Bulls should have got him. Then I'm not saying we took him to a championship, but I just thought Russ is a Chicago type player. He's a Jimmy Butler type, play every week. You know what I mean? Hate him or love him. He's going to take the last shot. He's going to play his ass off. I like Russ a lot. I think he gets a lot of hate. I think he is playing awfully on the Lakers, but everybody besides LeBron and AD could have saw that was going to happen. But I do think the Bulls should just get Russ and get those 2 picks. Maybe send DeMar and Vooch over there. And then whatever you got to do to get some young players and some draft capital, get rid of LaVine. I've seen some Knicks offers, maybe quickly top end and a couple firsts. I don't know, something like that. Maybe I know the Mavs were interested at one point in the offseason for a sign and trade, maybe somewhere there, maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. and some picks. I don't know. It's going to be later picks. Nobody in the lottery is trading their pick this year. Nobody.
No.
Victor Vinyama and the other dude after him. What's his name? Scotty something. I forgot. But the guy in the G League, Scoot. Scoot something. Not Scotty. It's Scoot something. But he's a point guard. But he's supposed to be a bucket. And then, like I said, if Victor wasn't, he'd be for sure #1 draft pick as well, and multiple other draft classes. So the Bulls need to just be over with it. I mean, maybe even give Pat Will this season to say, all right, you've been training with DeMar. This is your show now. And if he sucks, then be done with him too. And I mean, unless he's still got some value and somebody wants him. But they have nobody. They have no young guy on the bench to put in to be brightful for the future. Zach LaVine just isn't it. How much longer can they wait? He's injury prone. And again, he's just not the guy. He's not a playmaker. He's a super streaky scorer. And like I said, I don't know what the Bulls are doing. The front office.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And like I said, we were talking about the GMs of Chicago. So we'll talk, we talked about the Bulls a little bit. Let's transition to the Sox and the Cubs. So Carlos Correa signed a $360 million deal, not in a Cubs uniform. And I know Cubs fans are pretty pissed off about that because Tom Ricketts was saying, hey, Jed, here's the checkbook. Spend whatever you need to spend. Shortstop was a really big need for them. They didn't go out and get Carlos Correa like a lot of people wanted them to. They did sign Cody Bellinger. The White Sox are still standing pat, not doing anything.
Yeah, I think they're going to be trading.
I think so too. I think Lucas Giolito's gone. I think Liam Hendricks is gone. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that the White Sox regress horribly this year. And it's not like it pains me to say this as a Sox fan because they completely shit the bed this past year. They went under what they should have. They underaccomplished completely. I don't see this team winning more than 85 games next year.
Probably not.
Especially if it stays the same.
I mean, if
And
everybody's back at full health, we should be scoring runs.
yeah, but that Mike Clevenger signing, that doesn't do anything for us. I got to see how Garrett Crochet comes back from his Tommy John surgery. I want to see Michael Kopech back healthy.
I mean,
I
Lynn should
want
be back better.
huh?
The Lynn should be back better this year
Yeah,
too.
I want to see Lance Lynn coming back. I want to make sure that this wasn't a flash in the pan from Dylan Cease. I mean, Dylan Cease has always kind of had that little bit of a swag to him, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
now there's talks about bringing back Carlos Rodon. And if they bring back Carlos Rodon, my whole thing is, why the fuck did you let him leave in the first place? If you re-sign him now, why would you have let him leave, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever it was, when the Giants, went ahead and signed him, when you could have had him on your pitching staff this whole time? You you didn't even trade him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a good season for you. He had a really good season for
yeah,
you,
that was
and
his
you let
best
him,
season.
and then you,
Yeah,
and
and then
then
they
you
let
let him walk out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people were kind of worried about maybe he's a Jose Quintana type, maybe he had 1 or 2 good years on a contract year, and he was going to regress. But I think we all kind of saw, us baseball fans, when we looked at Carlos Rodon and how he pitched. His command was really good. He didn't pitch a lot of innings. He didn't put a lot of stress on his elbow or his shoulder. Even on the defense, he was more of a ground ball. He pitched to contact, a lot of ground
yeah,
balls. So I don't understand why you don't pull the trigger and just sign him then. I know, and he didn't even command a ton of money. I think it was like 15 mil a season the Giants were paying him. Now you're going to have to pay him over 20 to bring him back. So, if they do that, I'll be happy, because then your lineup, you know what I'm saying, your starting rotation, you have Dylan Cease, Carlos Rodon, Lance Lynn, Michael Kopech, Mike Clevenger, and then you'll have Garrett Crochet coming out of the bullpen. I think Crochet is going to be a starter at some point. He's just a young kid, big
yeah.
arm, big arm. Let's just see how he recovers from that Tommy John. But they still need that left-handed bat. They need that, left-handed corner outfielder bat, and they're not. I'm not seeing any progress being made. The Cubs are doing more with what they have. Cody Bellinger is a great signing for them. I think Cody Bellinger,
Is he lefty?
yeah, Cody, he's a former MVP. He's a former
Yeah,
Rookie of the Year. He's only been in the league 6 years. I think it's, he just needed a change of scenery.
yeah.
And he's got playoff and World Series experience. That's a big name player for the Cubs. So congratulations to all you Cubs fans out there. I'm personally not a Cubs fan. I fucking hate the Cubs. But you guys have a bright future ahead of you. Nico Horner, the second baseman, he's
Yeah.
got a bright future ahead of him as well. The team, I mean, the Cubs got some good young talent if they can, go out and start making some moves, bring in some veteran presence, and possibly make a run. They're not going to catch the Cardinals this year. I don't even think they'll be as good as Milwaukee. I think Cubs probably finish third. I think they'll finish ahead of the Reds. I think the Sox have a lot of work to do. Carlos Correa being out of Minnesota is huge for us, so thank you
Yeah.
for that. I think best case scenario, they finish second, because I think Cleveland's going to run away with that division again next year. They're the youngest team in the majors, and they finished with the second best record in the American League last year. So it's a tough road for the Sox. It really is. It's gonna be a really tough
We've
road.
been really quiet. There's really nobody else to go and get now anymore. So
No, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Chicago Sox and Cubs both. You're a top three market, and made in the majors. And I know we talked about this, a couple weeks ago, but with profit sharing and stuff like that, you can't sit there and tell me that you're losing money. You're not. Tom Ricketts and Jerry Reinsdorf, you're not losing money.
I mean, if
Open
the
your
Sox are good, people go to the game. So
open
and
your
it's cheap.
fucking checkbooks and start spending some fucking money. If you expect me to go out there and pay, $40 for a ticket, $18 for a fucking hot dog, $13 on a fucking beer, I want to see a good product on the field. I'm not getting that. So as a fan, that's kind of shitty on me, because I know you got the fucking money to go out there and spend and put a better product on the field. You're not
I
doing
don't. This year, I don't know if the pass is the word. I mean, they could have done other stuff, but like everybody got hurt. Same with last year, the year before that as well. Tim Anderson,
Yeah, but
Luis
they're not
Roberts.
making the moves to make it better. You can't sit there and be like, well, if we're healthy, if we're healthy, if we're healthy, if we're healthy. That's the oldest excuse in the book. You're like, hey,
Well,
let's
I
run
mean,
it
you
back
just
because we're
can't make
healthy.
moves. Like, who are you going to trade when everybody's hurt? Like the guys are
Fuck
going to
it,
trade
who
you.
cares? I'd be okay right now. I love Tim Anderson.
I think Tim
Love,
is going to get traded.
love Tim Anderson, but he's going to bring back the most in return in terms of a trade that's a non-pitcher.
Yeah.
So if you trade Tim Anderson and you get something in return, at least a decent haul, I'm okay with that because he's not a game changer. He's a good leadoff hitter, but he's not a game. He's not a feared hitter. He hits for average. He hits over 300. He hits about 15, 20 dingers a year, and that's awesome. That's great. But he's not a game-breaking, game-changing offensive
He's
player.
not super solid at shortstop either anymore.
No, defensively, he's not. So if you move on from Tim Anderson, you move on from Tim Anderson. I'm okay with that. But get something in return for him. Don't just, here's Tim Anderson for, a fucking your 52nd prospect and, a second round pick in the Rule 5 draft. Like it's not gonna do anything. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating as a Sox fan because for me personally, it's Bears, Bulls, Sox. I kind of interchange Sox and Bulls a little bit in terms of 2A and 2B. But it's frustrating as a Sox fan because we were told specifically, hey, this team's gonna be great. We're gonna compete. We hired a fucking dinosaur as our manager who's been retired for 15 fucking years. We knew that was a mistake. Anybody who sat there and was like, oh yeah, this is a great hire, you're a fucking idiot. Plain and simple. Like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to call you out like that. I'm not sorry. You are a fucking idiot if you thought Tony La Russa was going to be a good hire for the White Sox. We'll see what Pedro Fall has to offer. I don't know much about him. My only concern is you had a managerial opening in Kansas City where you brought in a new manager you didn't promote from within, and he was already on the staff. So why wasn't he given that job? Why wasn't he promoted?
They want it
since it's the Royals. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's very frustrating.
The next few free agencies for all the Chicago teams are going to be crucial because it looks like we're all kind of in. We need some new blood in the city mode. I mean, even the Blackhawks are talking about trading Taser Kane. Like I said, I think Tim Anderson will be gone. I think the Bulls should move on from DeMar DeRozan, Vooch, and Zach LaVine. I mean, even Lonzo Ball, if anybody wants his hobbled ass. It's over. This rendition of the team isn't going to do anything but be scrappy and put on, you know what I mean? So I think it's blow it up time. Let Pat Will and the Terry kid and whoever these young guys play for the rest of the year. See if they've got some with them. And I don't know. I mean, and AK is going to have to get a free agent or two and also hit on some of these later round draft picks. Hopefully we get the 5th or 6th pick. You said it was top 4 protected.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chicago's GM's got a lot of work to do because, like you said, Sox fans are pissed. Bulls fans, I don't know if pissed could be the word. I don't know if it's really the GM's fault. But their roster's in shambles. Every team's roster seems to be in shambles. The Cubs are taking some good steps forward. I did like Cody Bellinger signing. That'd have been nice if we got him.
Yeah. Especially because it wasn't that expensive. It wasn't that expensive.
It was like 1 year, like $19 million. Yeah,
and then there's like
I forgot how young he was. Yeah, because he came in young, like 19, right? 18, 19.
He's like 25, 26 years old, man.
Yeah,
like he's going into his prime. Like that's a good get for the Cubs. Like as a Sox fan, I'm jealous because that's exactly what the White Sox needed was a left-handed bat corner outfielder. And he is a Gold Glove caliber defender, former MVP, former Rookie of the Year. Cody Bellinger ain't no joke. He's had a couple of off seasons, you know what I'm saying? He's had a couple of down years, but you know that talent is there. You know what the ceiling is for Cody Bellinger, and that he's that low risk, high reward type player, and that's a great signing for the Cubs.
Right. You got any factor cap today?
I do have some.
I was going to say, we're rolling up on 45 minutes. Close this out.
So, number one, Justin Fields and Chase Claypool were among a total of 8 players listed on the injury report, and they were 2 of the 3 players that did not participate for today. Justin with an illness, Claypool with a knee. This game means nothing for Chicago coming up, so I asked Factor Cap if both players are not 100% by Sunday, the Bears should absolutely sit them.
Well, Claypool, I guess if it's a knee, you said Justin was sick, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
the
how would you not be 100%? What do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? What do you have the flu today? Like, I'm sure he'll be fine by Sunday. It's for 4 or 5 days of the best doctors you can get and the best diet you can have. I'm sure he'll be fine. And he's a elite athlete. I'm sure he'll get over it the next few days.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of changed my tune a little bit on Justin Fields sitting only because he's the only thing worth watching on Sundays
Yeah.
for me as a Bears fan. You know what I'm saying? Health wise, yeah, I would want him to sit, but entertainment value wise for the game,
Well, like I said, if it's a
want him to
sickness,
play.
that's not going to hinder his play. Like I said, if he's
No,
got,
but either way, even if he's a little weak because of the illness or something, I entertainment value. I can't watch. I don't even know
Trevor
who the
Siemian.
backup is right now. I
Oh no,
can't watch
Simeon's
Trevor.
done, right? Didn't he isn't he done for the year? He had oblique surgery, so it'd be
Oh yeah, that's right. So it's Nathan P. I can't watch that. I can't. I just can't.
that would be terrible.
Number 2, Philly scored over 40 points last week, and with the Bears' defense as poor as it is right now, is primed to repeat that feat again this week. So I asked Factor Cap, the Eagles are going to drop 50 on us this week.
I think that's big facts. I don't see any way around it. They're just going to run up and down the field on us. They're going to pass it all over us. They've got 2 good wide receivers, good O-line, the MVP quarterback, it's looking like.
They got a good tight ends.
Yeah,
I mean, that offense is loaded.
Our only hope is Justin can have some long sustaining drives where they won't have enough time to score 50 points, but I don't envision us. I don't think they're going to punt this game. I'll say that. I don't think
that would be
Eagles are going to punt. Maybe one because they're going to shit on us. So big facts.
It's going to be bad.
They're going to put us in the blender.
It's going to be bad. I do have from my daily fantasy lineups. I do have Devontae Smith in almost every single one of my lineups. Only because I think a lot of that. I think Devontae Smith will carve us up a lot more than AJ Brown will. Only because Devontae Smith's a little bit more shiftier. Should be interesting to see. All right, number 3, Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers won again. This time he demolished the Bucs 35-7. This Mr. Irrelevant is thriving in Kyle Shanahan's quarterback-friendly offense and looks like they might make a deep playoff run. So I asked Factor Cap, Brock Purdy is the next Tom Brady.
I'll say Cap because he had some nice stats, but he did some horrible things in that game. Like they just didn't intercept them somehow. But 3 or 4 times he was pick. Oh, did he get one? I was going to say 3 or 4 times he was getting sacked and he just threw it right at the linebacker somehow. So no, I don't even think Purdy's. I think he's going to be a career backup. But it was.
I think
football's an amazing game. It was fun to see. Like I said, we got the Baker Mayfield off of 48 hours, 98-yard touchdown drive, and then we got Brock Purdy coming out there playing the best game of his life against fucking Tom Brady. And I think it's a
real possibility Tom Brady plays for the San Francisco 49ers.
I do agree. I said that. Yeah, I think Tom Brady will be the quarterback of the night.
But Brock Purdy is also the perfect quarterback for Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Yeah, and to be back. He'll be the backup.
Extremely that offense is so quarterback friendly. You can throw anybody in there and they're going to succeed. Speaking of quarterbacks, Jared Goff and the Lions continue their hot streak, going from 1-6 to now 6-7, and on the verge of the playoffs. Jared Goff, in the meantime, is having the best season of his career, and they also have 2 first-round draft picks, including right now in the top 5 because of the trade with the Rams for Matthew Stafford. So Factor Cap, the Detroit Lions won't draft a quarterback because they found their guy in Goff, and they will be competing for the NFC North title for years to come.
I will say fact. I do think what is the point? How much better could a rookie quarterback be than Jared Goff? I mean, I don't think Jared Goff is like a top 10 guy, but like that's a big roll of the dice when you got a guy who's already been to the Super Bowl. He already throws for 300 yards a game. Yeah, he makes some bonehead plays. He doesn't have a huge arm, but he's a positive quarterback who, like I said, he can put up with 300 with the best of them with subpar receiving talent. I mean, Amon St. Brown is pretty good, but
He's Kirk Cousins, but better than Kirk Cousins.
I don't,
If that makes sense.
Maybe it's a good.
I,
Kirk Cousins is definitely a good comparison. He's very Kirk Cousins does. Got just not a huge arm, just a smart guy. But Goff is, I mean, he already, like I said, he's been to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? He only lost by like 10 points or some shit.
I said last week, Detroit is a team going forward that is going to be, it's gonna be rough. You know, that rivalry will reignite between the Bears and the Lions. They're extremely talented. They have so much talent on that roster.
Yes, Aiden Hutchinson is a savage.
And then they have
he plays with so much heart, it's infectious. So
and they got 2 first-round picks coming up. They, you know what I'm saying? They have them and the Jets have like the most number 1 picks on their roster currently right now in the NFL.
Yeah, Lions. I don't know.
And Dan Campbell, I was talking about Dan Campbell and just that, like how people want to play for Dan Campbell. I think it's really starting to kind of show a little bit. I think he's the right coach for them. I
think we got to get our team in order though, because
Jared Goff he's serviceable. I think he's a little underrated in terms of what he can do and what he brings to the field because he does make some boneheaded throws at times, but at the same time he can make plays that you just kind of take a look, like that throw he made on the sideline was just absolutely ridiculous. That second touchdown pass that he threw, amazing throw. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I'm watching the game, I'm sitting there, I'm like, there is no way that they draft a quarterback this year.
No, I don't think any of those. I'm not high on Bryce Young or Stroud. I don't think. I don't think
Will Levis is more of a project quarterback.
Yeah. I don't think any of them would be nearly as good as Goff.
No, so, and I think if I had to say right now who Houston's going to go with, it's probably going to be CJ Stroud.
Oh no way, it's going to be Bryce.
But I don't know.
Stroud's got the Ohio State stink on him. He ain't going one.
I don't know. Maybe Justin Fields turned that around for some people.
Maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think Justin Fields.
All right, last one. This one's going to be a little bit of a comedy one, okay? So Brittany Griner came home this week after being released from a Russian prison camp after a prisoner exchange for Victor Bout, a.k.a. the Merchant of Death. A lot of people disagree with this and are upset about this. So I asked Factor Cap, President Biden is the worst GM in history.
I would say Cap because that's Garpax and our guard. They are the worst GMs, but he would be close.
I don't know. Bill O'Brien from Houston.
Fucking Jerry Angelo. That son of a bitch.
Look, all jokes aside, if Paul Whelan's family is okay and they're happy for Brittany and they're okay with Paul, with the exchange, then I'm okay with it. Because facts are Russia wants some kind of assassin or whatever in exchange for Paul Whelan. But if the U.S. does that, then it kind of there's something about our relationship with Germany involved and everything else like that. I think a lot of the hate is coming from people who, realistically, let's be honest, I'm not saying they don't care about Paul Whelan, but they wouldn't have cared about Paul Whelan. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. The only reason why they're mad about this is because Brittany Griner is black, a woman, a lesbian, and a Democrat. That's I
don't know. I think something like that. I don't know. I thought it was. My problem with it is like, can we you went across the country to let somebody out of jail for fucking weed? Can we let all the people who are in our jails out for weed?
Yes, like 100%.
That's my biggest gut punch. It makes no sense to me. I mean, it's obviously not this big of a thing, but it's more like how it felt like I'm sure people felt about like Vietnam when you're like, let's go over there and fight for freedom. And it's like, we don't even let black people drink out of the same water fountains. They got to go over there and fight for somebody else's freedom. Like, it's similar to that. It's like, what the hell? We arrest people for weed too, and we don't let them out. Like, what the fuck? You're going to go over to Russia and get somebody out? Like, we just stopped arresting people for weed pens like fucking 18 months ago. Like, it's not even like it was 10 years ago. It's like a year ago in Illinois, they stopped doing it. Like, so that's part where I think it's silly. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Nobody cares about Paul Wayman. Like, and I don't care. I'll admit I don't care. I respect the guy, but I'll admit that I don't fucking know the guy, and I don't care. I have my own family and life to care about. So,
Yeah.
in that way, I respect the guy and all that. But so I know people, they're just pretending to care because it's a thing to argue about.
Yeah, and I appreciate what he's done for the country. He's a former
Yes,
Marine.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I have
what I'm saying?
respect for everybody who did that. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're gonna ask me if, yes, you know what I mean, before this shit, I cared about him, then you know what I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say,
No,
yeah.
nobody knew who he was before this happened.
Some
Like I said,
guy
I
on
think
Twitter
people,
found it out. And
I
told
think
everybody.
people are just more upset over the fact, and I get it. Once again, an American's an American, in my opinion. You bring one home, that's fine. If his family's okay with it, so am I. I think people are mad because, like I said, she's a combination of she's a black woman and a female, and she's LGBTQ community, and it's just a mix of all that. And people are all, what I'm
I
saying?
think
They're like,
again,
oh,
I
well,
do. I think that plays a part. I don't want to be too like pick a side. I think it's that, and I think it's also that people feel like that they can just sway the government into like getting certain people out of jail. Like, oh, the mob can just be like, you guys should be getting this person out. It's like, haven't Russia been arresting Americans for smoking weed in Russia forever? Like, I'm sure there's like 5 or 6 other motherfuckers who were there. Like, and we arrest people for fucking smoking weed and trying to bring it through the airport. Like, we arrest people every day, I'm assuming, for having drug paraphernalia in an airport. So I'm confused why we are like, we gotta go, like, we can lock everybody up for that, but god damn it, we're not gonna let the Russians lock people up for the same exact, like, that part is what I don't agree with. But I think it's a big thing where like everything nowadays, you have to choose a side. Like, you have to be on one of the sides. You can't just be like, well, I don't like this. I get that part, but I don't like this part, or like, shit like that. It's like, yeah, I'm happy to see Brittany Griner home, just because they're, you know what I mean, doing the woe is me thing. I'm sure if the media push Paul Wayman, or what's his name again? Sorry,
Paul Whelan.
Whalen. If they pushed him like they were pushing Brittany Griner, we'd have got his ass out too. But like, you never even seen him in the media or anything. So it's not, like I said, it's a multitude of things where like I never even knew who that guy was. Like, I was seeing fucking Brittany Griner memes for the last fucking, what has he been locked up, 8 months now, 6 months?
Yeah, a little under a year.
Yeah.
10 months or something like that.
All
right, let's get to some bets.
All right, close it out.
So last week I was 4-1. Money, cha-ching. This week I have San Francisco covering 3.5 points at Seattle. I have Detroit. They're getting 1 point at New York, the Jets. I don't know why I have this. I actually have Chicago covering the 9 points against Philly. I got Denver covering the 3 points against Arizona. They're at home against Arizona. I know I'm actually betting on Denver. And Cincinnati, I have them covering the 3.5 points at Tampa Bay. San Francisco, for reasons that we talked about earlier. Seattle's just, they're starting to come down a little bit. Gino's kind of falling back down to earth. I think this Detroit team is going to be the real deal. I think they're going to be a tough out. I think they win out and they go to the playoffs. 9 points is just really big for me on any NFL game. And if Justin Fields is playing, I think, it's a very good possibility they go score for score with Philly for a little while. So I'm going to take that 9 points, especially since it's at home. Denver, they're only getting 3 points against Arizona with no Kyler Murray. So Colt McCoy is going to be their starting quarterback. I don't know. Is Russ playing?
I don't think so.
Because he was
not
concussed,
after that.
wasn't he?
Not after that Tua debacle. I don't think Russ will be out there.
But I just think Denver's. I don't know. Maybe I think Denver's going to play better without Russ in the lineup. I don't know.
Is it supposed to be snowing this weekend here
in Chicago? I don't know.
I'm looking at it right now. It says the over/under is 48. Like, shit, I'll take that.
I'll take the over all day.
Yeah, big time. I'm probably going to put some big money on that because 40. I mean, the Philly alone's going to score. I would be shocked if they scored less than 35 points. I would be shocked unless it's snowing really bad.
Yeah, no.
And then I think they would march it up and down the field on us.
If that's the over-under is 40, you said
And
48 or
I'm
48
looking.
and a half.
It's 48 and a half. I'm looking at
Is
right
that
now.
on DraftKings or is that
I'm
on
on FanDuel, but they're usually the same. They're pretty close. Yeah, I'm definitely taking that. Yeah. So that's the one that leapt out to me, and I also like. I do a lot of over unders. Some of these NFL lines are just a little bit much. I like Pittsburgh and Carolina to go over 37.
I think I've only had a losing record once in the 5 weeks we've been doing this. I think I've had a losing record once, and I was 2-3 that week instead of 3-2 because I've been 3-2 consistently, 4-1 last week. So let's see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna put, we'll see what happens with that over under. If that over under is only 48 and a half, that game's gonna go way over.
Yeah,
way over.
Yeah, even if Justin Fields didn't play, then that means they're going to score 50 on us. So we just need
especially
to get one touchdown.
so and for people who don't understand betting, and I know probably a lot of people here do, but in retrospect, if the over under is 48 points and they are favored by 9 points, what they're pretty much saying is that the game's going to be like 24-17 or 24-15 or something like that, because they think it's going to go under the 48 and Philly's going to win by 9. There's no shot that the Bears don't score
like
more
21
than points.
Yeah, I was going to say the Bears are going to score like 21.
And Philly's
at this point,
score
you can't keep Justin Fields out. If he plays the whole game, you're not keeping him out more. Like he's going to get free.
I see this game being like, honestly, 42-35.
Yeah, I would say
I could see that.
Yeah, 48 to fucking 31 or something like that.
Yeah,
weird shit.
35-28, 35-31, something. I mean, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be like the Miami game.
Yeah, that's a good example. All right, it was fun. Hopefully, we got some good things to talk about on the Bears game coming up. And it's nice talking to you. And I'll see you again.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. I needed to do that at the beginning.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook.